Nick Bromberg from Yahoo Sports joins us. And on that front, Nick, I start with a very loaded question here, and I appreciate you taking the time to join us. How likely do you think it is, as of right now, that we get a whole college football season?
Ooh, the whole college football season, all 12 games, I will say 60%. I'm going to go better than 50-50, but I'm going to leave the possibility open. I honestly do think we're going to see football in some form or fashion. I'm just not sure what that form or fashion is going to be. I maybe I'm being optimistic, but part of me, thinks that we're going to have something figured out when it comes to, July, August, that we can get things rolling with proper precautions, and we've all wisened up, and we can have football season starting, even if it starts in mid to late September, best case, if it doesn't start on time.
Yeah, how much flexibility do you feel like there is? If it's not going to start on time or if there's an interruption in the middle of it, where do you think college football is as far as flexibility goes?
I do agree with Gene, what he said right there about that, we only have 12 games we have to play, and we could potentially play through the end of the year. And I think that also, that flexibility may also be determined based on how schools are adapting in terms of classes. What are classes doing in the fall semester? Because I know a lot of places right now are canceling in-person classes for the summer semester, so all summer classes at a lot of universities are going to be fully online. What I think is going to be the tricky part of this, so let's just say in the hypothetical discussion we're having, football doesn't start until what should be week 3 or week 4. And we're starting games around September 20th. The problem with that is you're probably going to get all 9 if you're Kansas State. You're going to get all 9 of your Big 12 conference games in. But where this gets tricky for especially everybody outside the Power 5 is these group of 5 schools need these bye games to survive. These are what props up their athletic department's budget. And these bye games happen for a lot of schools in weeks 1, 2, and 3. So, yeah, you could cancel a bye game, and that's probably the easiest thing to do for a Power 5 school that is paying an opponent to come to their home stadium. But that opponent coming to their home stadium is counting on that revenue to prop up athletic budgets, and as we've seen already so far, the budgets are going to be significantly impacted with the $225 million payout from NCAA instead of the $600 million payout from the tournament TV money.
Nick Bromberg from Yahoo Sports, college football reporter, is with us. Yeah, that's kind of the way this whole thing works, right? Just the haves will survive much better than the have-nots. It just, no matter how you slice it, that's the way this is going to be.
It is. And, and what stinks, I think what we have to start thinking about, too, is if we want to start looking at college sports in the broader sense, what really is going to stink and be sacrificed first here, going forward, I think the process is going to have to start starting here. If you looked a little deeper into those numbers from the NCAA, the schools that really, really, really got pinched with the lower payout are the D2 and the D3 schools. And that stinks because those are the kids who are going to school. They may not have full scholarships. They're playing simply because they want to keep their college, their athletic careers going as long as possible. I mean, and a lot of guys, Division III, you're paying your own way. And, now those schools may be having to cut sports because they're not getting the money that they're expecting from the NCAA. So you're right, this trickle-down is really going to hit those at the bottom of the food chain the hardest. And even if we want to keep that at the FBS level, you need some programs that are going to have to figure out ways to make ends meet, basically. And we've already had one, Dean White, in the interview with the Orlando Sentinel today, it was published today, already floated the idea of the potential federal or state-level relief for athletic departments. And as big of college football fans as we all are, I think the majority of opinion would probably side on the fact that state and federal money should go to about 50 other things before college sports.
Could they legitimately play games without fans? Do you see that as a feasible option here?
I think you have to. I think you have to consider that because in the environment that we're in right now, if you have the choice between, well, maybe we can try this in a controlled environment or not play a game at all, you're playing the game. Because you would rather, I think every AD poll would rather subsist on the TV money alone and potentially forego the gate revenue and your season ticket income. I realize that's a big chunk, but you're looking at playing a game behind closed doors with no TV money whatsoever, and fans in attendance or no fans in attendance, and the TV money, you're taking the TV money because the TV money is going to be a bigger piece of that pie. So TV's going to rule all here, and especially too, quite frankly, if in a draconian, terrible situation where we're all having to do this social distancing things through August, September, October, people are going to want things to watch. And if there's a way to safely place sporting events in empty stadiums, I think there's going to be networks going to want it, schools are going to want it, professional sports leagues are going to want it.
We're talking right now with Yahoo Sports. Nick Bromberg covers college football. I did see Brett McMurphy tweet today, and I have no idea how serious this idea actually would be, but that a group of 5 presidents suggested just pushing the season back to the spring. Is that in any way feasible?
That'd be a lot of moving parts. And I think also, too, that kind of jives with the Sports Business Journal report this week that said, some people were talking about moving the season up, which I think that is even less feasible than pushing the season back, because I know, we were talking when Anthony Fauci talked about a week ago. The days all run together at this point. When he said, the virus could come back in the colder weather later this fall and winter, that spurred the discussion of, maybe we could move the college football season up. And, okay, no, you can't, because right now you've got stay-at-home orders throughout many states that are getting extended, some into June even, at this point, Virginia, I think, goes into June. So you're probably not going to get your kids on campus until at the earliest on July 1st. And then when you have kids on campus, how do you know, are you going to have enough? With the testing situation the way it is in this country, are you going to have enough tests to be able to test anybody that's there to make sure that they don't have the coronavirus? Can you make sure that if they go out somewhere, they're not going to get exposed? How often can you test kids? I think the big hurdle to me in starting the season on time is not necessarily what things are going to be like in September. It's what things are going to be like in July and in August, when you need everybody to start doing their off-season conditioning workouts probably 2 to 3 weeks ahead of time of when fall camp starts. Fall camp's going to start for everybody right around that first week of August. If you get 30 days of fall camp, you're going to be in good shape. But if the preparations for the season are delayed, especially with all the time lost right now when it comes to off-season workouts, the season is probably going to be delayed because you cannot sacrifice that preseason prep, because that will raise the injury risk. I think that's pretty safe to say across the board for any sport, especially football.
And in particular, too, after missing spring football for all of these teams as well, that puts even more importance on it. As far as Gene Taylor's sentiment was concerned, and I tend to almost lean more with Kirk Herbstreit now, where I would be somewhat surprised if we get a season starting at least on time. I can understand why Gene Taylor would balk at least throwing that idea out there if you're someone like Kirk Herbstreit. Do you get the idea or the vibe that there is that sentiment out there among ADs or commissioners that they don't want that being pushed out there?
Yeah, because I don't think you want to start – because you've got season ticket renewals going on. I think everybody in and around college athletics, everybody understands just how important football is to the whole college sports ecosystem. Football is what makes the world go round, and you do not want to start talking about the axis slowing down on this, because then that's going to affect everything else. Because Bob Bowlesby has said, look, the Big 12, we can make the payout. We can pay everybody their allotted amount, but if the football money doesn't come in 2020, then we're really starting to have to figure out what's going on in 2021. And that those conversations are happening behind the scenes of, okay, we're going to have a contingency for A, B, C, and D. We're going to plan for the season starting on time. We're going to publicly talk about it, and I don't blame them at all for the slightest. But at the same time, with everything that's trending, I do think that if we do have a season that starts on time, there are going to be significant modifications to what we saw in Week 1 of the 2019 college football season.
Nick Bromberg talking with us from Yahoo Sports. So let's assume that there is a football season, but it is somewhat truncated or whatever. If you're a school like Baylor, so I think of this from K-State's perspective. Last year, if this would have happened last year to K-State and you have no spring football, you're breaking in a new coaching staff, I just can't imagine trying to get that up and ready to go in time for a season. If you're Baylor right now and Dave Aranda, new coaching staff, I mean, how do you, without spring football, actually put this together in an organized fashion before the season would start?
This is why everybody bought stock in Zoom, right?
Yeah.
Because this is the way that everything has to be done. But how do you install defensive and an offensive system? This is I mean, I don't even want to think of logistical hurdles with that. This is the playing field that we're talking about here, where you've got just across just 300 miles east of Manhattan in Columbia, or not even that far. You've got Eli Drinkwitz trying to figure out how he's going to coach a team for the first time without spring practice. I mean, that's a very real situation for a lot of these first-year schools. And also, too, I think this is, on a larger level, speaks to the lack of autonomy, or the multiple levels of autonomy in college football, where the Big Ten is extending no-contact orders and rules for its coaches, while the SEC is authorizing things and how virtual coaching can be done for players. And I know the NCAA earlier today said the recruiting dead period is through May 31st now. So we're talking about junior evaluations. I mean, they're out the window. Recruiting is pretty much going to be on the fly here for the next 6 months, I think. But so you're going to have teams that could be, if you're in the SEC, you may be a little bit more prepared, even if you have a returning staff, than a team in the Big Ten. And it almost feels like on that front, I wish that the NCAA, if possible, could just come out and say, hey, look, we want everybody to be operating here on a level playing field, because if we are going to plan that the season is starting on time, it doesn't make sense that teams in the SEC are going to be able to do some certain things that teams in other conferences cannot.
Of course, it's the SEC, right? It's got to be the SEC that drives everybody's ire here.
Exactly, right. And also, too, it's real. This is a real situation when the SEC is canceling the spring meetings in Destin. I mean, the Destin spring meetings, that's everybody date, circle on the calendar, go to the beach for the week. Those are not happening in 2020.
Nick, this has been great stuff. Really appreciate your insight. Again, go follow him, Yahoo Sports, Nick Bromberg. I just tweeted his Twitter handle, @JLKurtz. You can find it there if you want to follow Nick. Appreciate it, Nick, and hopefully we'll be talking soon about a football season, my friend. Stay safe.
Yes, you too. And anybody out there who has a strong opinion on who the best college football team of all time is, we have the Final 8 at Yahoo Sports. The number 1 seed is going to make a lot of K-State fans shiver. 1995 Nebraska, number 2 seed, 2001 Miami. So if you have an idea, have an opinion on who the best college football team of all time is, we would love your vote at Yahoo Sports.